Double fisting is what this is called, my friends. Double fisting. Now, for those of you who might be just listening to the audio, for God's sakes, I've got 2 coffees in my hand. Okay. And this is what you're going to need for today's show. You're going to need multiple cups of coffee because we are about to throw down some straight, exciting knowledge. These aren't nuggets. These aren't little crumbs. These are straight gold bars. Okay. So I hope that you've got your mining equipment and you're ready to actually mine some real nuggets today, some real boulders, okay, out of this conversation, because Marisa is using the skills that she learned here in Legendary Marketer to basically she has dug herself out of a hole of, quite frankly, from what it sounds like to me, and we'll hear from her in just a moment, of just real the bottom, like being at the bottom, like a real bottom, which I can completely relate to. I've been at the bottom in many respects in life, and I know how hard it is to dig myself out of those holes. But she has done that, and she is now going to take a little bit of a victory lap here. And I know she is not feeling like that, but I'm celebrating for her because of her amazing journey. So my friends, we have incredible guests with incredible stories every single day on the show, but I will hope and ask all of you guys to help me give a huge warm welcome this morning to our phenomenal and exciting guest. I'm excited to talk to her. Marisa, what is going on?
Hi, how are you? Hi, everybody.
You're a rock star. Let's just establish that right up front. Okay. And tell us about what your life has looked like over the last couple of years and what eventually led you to Legendary in the first place.
So over the last couple of years, just further back than that, I grew up really poor. Nobody in my family, even my extended family, has experienced any kind of level of success. So 2 years ago, I started a business, a solar company, and things were going really well. And I felt like I was on top of the world, although it was eating up a lot of my time being a solar business owner. I didn't really have time for my family. And then when the pandemic hit, my business partner at the time, rather than like riding this wave with me and just seeing what happens, he emptied out our company's bank account, which consisted of mine and my husband's life savings. He was like the contractor member, so he hadn't contributed any capital. It was all me. It was $200,000, like the largest number that mine and my husband had ever seen. And he, even though we were doing work, he emptied out equivalent to that, which was everything. And I, for a month, was paying payroll and our lease agreement, everything out of my husband's personal paycheck. And I had to close because I couldn't survive like the theft and the pandemic, because business had also just all the ways that we generated revenue were no longer an option, like talking to people face to face, sending my sales guys out to people's houses. That was no longer an option. So business went from 100% to 0%. And it was probably one of the most depressing times of my life, like just waking up every day having that feeling of fear in my stomach, like what am I going to do? And of course, like, I went on Google. I'm like, how do I make money online? And I got scammed quite a few times, honestly, like, because just out of desperation, I paid people large sums of money. Drop shipping was one of them. And had I known what I know now, I probably would have been successful in drop shipping. But regardless, I actually saw a video on TikTok about Legendary, and at that point I was like, okay, what's $7? I've already lost like my life savings. I've already like maxed out my credit cards, like trying to learn how to make money online, because like when you grow up poor and you're not in the industry, you don't really have the tools that you need to be successful. And I was like desperately trying to like borrow tools from people, and I just couldn't get it. And Legendary actually was what like kind of just kept me from filing bankruptcy. Decade in a Day was amazing. So yeah,
So
that was
you
the last.
actually, yeah. So I mean, I'm so sorry that happened to you. First of
Yeah.
all, like just
Mm.
wow. Like most people that would just would kill their spirit, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm sure it felt like that,
it did.
but I and also others on here, I can see, sense a spirit of a warrior in you, and that's obvious by what you've done since you've been here. Now, I want to establish before we get into some of the things that you have done with the training here, because it's incredible. And guys, Marisa, we'll talk some numbers, and which I don't usually do. But I think it's important for you guys to understand what you can do with these skills. So I just want to say that Marisa's results are not typical of your results or anybody else's results here. And you can make more, you can make less, you can make nothing at all. And unfortunately, most people do little to nothing and they make little to nothing, similar to how when we, anything we do in life, if we do little to nothing, we get little to no results. That's just kind of how life works. And I think we're all adults and can accept that. But when you came into Legendary, you actually put our business blueprints on 2 credit cards, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right.
It was what I had left, and I thought my husband was gonna kill me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting because there's people who are not in that much of a difficult financial situation, and who have a lot more of a difficult time making an investment in themselves. So how did you mentally make that investment in yourself once again? Was it the feeling that you had in us? Was it that you were willing to take one last leap of faith? I mean, that's a sign of mental. It's either a sign of desperation or mental toughness, right? I mean, maybe a little bit of both. And I've been there in both places. Mentally, how did you do that?
So when I was doing the 15-day business challenge, I was really inspired by the videos. But I kept thinking, okay, there has to be more. This can't be it. And Diego, my business, the guy that, calls and takes me through those 15 days, he was super cool, and I kept waiting for the ball to drop, like just like with these other programs where this guy's like flashing $1 million and he's in his jet and he's like, "Do you want this?" And Diego was never like that. So I'm like, how come Diego's like not trying to force this down my throat? So I think that got me mentally prepared, where somebody was like, I'm not going to try to force this down your throat. Are you ready for this?
Mm.
And then I think it was like day 6 or 7, I watched your video again. It was the landing page of the affiliate that had brought me in. And that night, I just kind of, your story, it was like playing in my head, almost like I could hear it. So I'm like, okay, I think this is a God thing. I don't know. I believe in God. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I felt like God was telling me, okay, let's just keep trying. So
I wish all
yeah,
people who are like spiritual and religious would have your attitude. Like, I believe in God. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But this is what, like, thank you for
yeah.
that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
because I don't want people to think like you have to hear God telling you to do it, because I know it's
Right.
definitely a bunch of other things. And me,
Sure.
it was just hearing your genuine story, like hearing somebody who's been at the bottom of the barrel, because that's where I was. So it was almost
Mhm.
like you met me where I was. Your story met me where I was, and just I was like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it.
Wow. So since then, which is where it gets really exciting, I wanted you to kind of lay out what it took for you to get here, because I think we all face those same decisions and those same kind of listening to, whether it be the voices in our head, the feeling in our stomach, and we all have to make decisions about the direction that we're going to go when we come into a environment like this. It's like, do we want to take the next step? Do we want to just back out and go try to find something different that maybe looks more fast or more, like like money is going to shoot out of the computer. You know, I know people
Right.
who have spent 20 years in this industry buying courses and waiting for the money to come automatically. And it's like,
Yeah.
I actually saw a guy post in a Facebook group the other day. He said, I've bought like 5 or 6 products on Warrior Forum and none of them have helped me to make money automatically. Can I buy a course that helps me make money automatically? And somebody was like, I think you answered your own question. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So what you did was you went on to our Decade in a Day, which is the kind of the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that is a part of our Business Blueprints program. And talk us through, when was that again?
When I did Decade in a Day, it's been like a month and a half.
Holy crap. It's only been a month and a half?
It hasn't been that long, no. And I've watched it probably like 20 times.
Okay. So talk us through what kind of that experience was like, and then how you've used those skill sets to go out and not just recoup your investment, but now be bringing in pretty significant income. Talk us through kind of that and tell us how you've done that.
So before Decade in a Day, I was still experiencing like just this level of fear when I woke up, like, please let Legendary be what I needed to just really help me succeed. And Matt's an awesome teacher, so Decade in a Day was awesome. I just think everybody should do that 100 times if they could. And I was grabbing onto things that he was saying during Decade in the Day. And one of the things he said was like, and it's also in the training in our platform, the gal that does the videos, they both said, don't just go to like ClickBank and these other ones that you guys were talking about. You guys they recommended Google affiliate programs, like Google affiliate programs for the products that you're looking into. So as soon as Decade in a Day ended, I went through the process. The easiest thing for me, I already had ideas. The easiest thing for me was to get on TikTok. And I already had an idea, and I ended up Googling because I didn't see what I wanted in ClickBank. So I Googled self-defense products affiliate program, and I called one company, and this was after multiple calls, and I ended up speaking to the owner, and I told him about Legendary, like this huge training class I just did. And right then and there, he's like, you know what, I'll give you 25% commission. So he increased my commission amount. It was completely different from a ClickBank situation. Mm-hmm. So he had like his own platform in the back where I could see like my traffic, and I instantly just started doing stuff on TikTok, and that's where I made like a really large sum of money.
Yeah, so you were marketing in the self-defense niche.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Which is such a cool, and it's always been a proven niche, all the way back to guys like Matt Fury. If you guys go to there's actually a site called swiped.co, swiped.co, and you type in Matt Fury or you type in self-defense, you'll actually in our blueprints as well. I believe I've updated the blueprints. I don't know if you've even gone through the updated version since then, Marisa, but if you haven't, you should go back into the blueprints and go through the new affiliate blueprint that you've done all this with, just kind of like you went through the initial information and then just took off and started action, which I absolutely celebrate. And now I've since updated the blueprint once again, and all that training is available to you for free as a blueprint client. So just know that. And the point that I'm trying to make is just the self-defense niche is a really kind of unknown niche, but it's a really popular niche. People buy stuff there. People want to defend themselves. What attracted you to that niche particularly, Marisa?
Well, I was actually in 2018, I was a victim of a crime. And I ultimately just stopped leaving my house. And that's kind of what led up to my business partner being able to steal so much money from me. Is I stopped, because I lived in Arizona at the time, and I used to travel to Texas because it was so close. Yeah. And I would do like our weekly meetings, our monthly meetings and events. And by trade, I'm an accountant. So I've always like watched our expenses. But after 2018, I just stopped leaving my house. So when I was going through like this blueprints in the decade in a day, and they were talking about like, okay, think of your niche. Instantly, I thought of like self-defense products. And what I started doing is I actually created a TikTok account, and TikTok has taken down so many of my accounts,
Mm.
but I just keep opening them back up and posting more videos, because I noticed that you would see all over TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, videos of like women telling their stories about being assaulted or their children almost potentially kidnapped. And for a lot of women, like we always think like, what would we do if somebody tried to take our child and
Right.
like our husband's not there? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So I just started like feeding into that kind of story to get people's attention. And then, my link is here. So
Yeah. You make things so simple. Like you're just like, wow, like for real, like you make things so really, really simple. I wish that sometimes I tend to overcomplicate things, and I'm not saying that you don't. I think we all can be perfectionist and
yeah,
overcomplicate stuff, but I just love your outlook. I mean, it's just kind of like, this is what I do. The link is here. Like you either want to protect yourself and protect your children and be prepared for this type of situation, or kind of you don't. Um,
yeah,
so I also love the other thing that really struck me about your attitude and your outlook and your approach is that TikTok's taken down my accounts, and I just keep posting more videos. I just keep opening more accounts. I just keep.
yeah,
It's not like you're not taking it personal. You're not like acting like this is the end of the world. It's just this kind of is like a thing that happens on the internet, especially if you're kind of aggressively marketing, and
yeah.
you seem to pretty much take it in stride as kind of part of the game. Is that your mentality? I mean, am I reading that right?
Yeah, I mean, it did piss me off because I was like, what they said that I was inciting violence because what I was doing, I mean, there's
That
this never-ending plethora of videos on YouTube of, assault caught on camera, kidnapping caught on camera. So I was taking these videos, I was modifying them, cutting them down to 30 seconds, 7 seconds, adding words to them, posting them on TikTok, but these were like real life videos.
right.
So to me, I was thinking, heck yeah, TikTok, I'm inciting violence. Like, yes, if somebody's going to attack you, kick their ass. Like, how it's just really simple. So, I would get these videos that would go viral. Like, my first video that went viral, I chose a video of a woman in a Target parking lot being abducted.
Mm,
And the reason why I chose that video is because who doesn't love Target? Like, nobody thinks that that's going to happen to you in Target.
right.
And that video, it got like 35,000 views within 4 days, which to me was a really big deal. And I had people just messaging me like, do you deliver? Even people from like Canada who was like, those products are illegal here. And, I'm sorry that they are, but I got a lot of business that way. And every time TikTok deleted my account, I just reopened another one and I posted the video slowly. And in fact, just a few days ago, they re-enabled one of my accounts that I didn't even know they did.
Nice.
So I'm going to start my trouble on that all over again.
I love you. I really am just in love with just your attitude and your outlook, and you just seem like such a cool person to hang out with. Yeah, for real, man. So you've also used these skills to go out and get clients to run advertising based on the information that you learned on the Decade in a Day. So walk us through that whole kind of opportunity that you've taken advantage of.
So that just happened like yesterday that I got this contract. But prior to that, my friend was like, "Oh, I just became a life insurance agent." I'm like, "Cool." So I asked him, I'm like, "Well, how do you get business?" And he goes, "I just talk to like strangers or people that I meet on the street and my family." And I thought, that's really old school. Like, who does sales like that? So I got on a Zoom with him and I just showed him like just a little bit of stuff. I'm like, let's look at audience insights in Facebook. I learned that from, our blueprints training, of course. And he saw the reach of people he could just like reach without having to, be walking on the street and being like, hey, you want life insurance? That was just really weird to me. So he told his boss, who was the branch, like opened the branch in Arizona, and this guy was just like amazed by the things that I was showing them, but they didn't want to do it themselves. So he offered me, I think it's between 4 and 5K a month just to create their ClickFunnel, set up their business manager account, design their ClickFunnel. And guess what? I'm not going to actually build their ClickFunnel. I'm going to pay the guy on Upwork that I pay $300 to build my ClickFunnel. I'm going to have him do it, and the business account, I've already have that created. The ad copy and all of that stuff, I make it off of like promo.com, or I pay somebody on Upwork to make videos for me. So this is going to be, I'm going to be generating this revenue under my LLC, and I'm hardly going to be doing anything because I'm not going to make the ClickFunnel page and I'm not going to make the ads. I'm going to pay somebody to do that for me using the money that he's giving me. So it's, I guess it seems simple to me.
You're making it sound so. I mean, like you keep it simple, girl. You keep it simple, and I think that's part of our human condition is to complicate the fuck out of everything, isn't it? And you're just keeping it so damn simple, and I love it.
If I don't, I'll give up, and I know that about myself. So I really do try to keep it simple, so I don't give up.
Thank you for pointing that out, because it's okay to have, as I call them, vulnerabilities, right? It's not weakness. Like nobody's weak. I don't know anybody who's weak, like, because when we want some shit, we go after it, but it's just a vulnerability. It's just, it's like I'm vulnerable to shiny objects personally. So I got to be real focused on like what I'm doing. I get super obsessive about focus. That's why every day I'm so focused. Like I come on here, I'm down to what I eat and how I look and the shirt I wear, and like, because I just don't want to get caught up in getting lost in too much variety, because I like variety, right? So good to know our vulnerabilities, and I think we all want to give up when things feel complicated. So I just love how you said that. It's so true for I think so many of us. So Upwork has been a huge benefit to you, right? It's been like kind of like a big deal as you just kind of laid out. So talk us through how you kind of like discovered that and how you've utilized it up until this point to sort of outsource stuff in kind of these various marketplaces that have like a lot of people from around the world who are kind of eager to do like pretty serious work for pretty low pay.
Yeah. Well, so in the training, Fiverr's brought up. I had already known about Upwork. I can't remember if it was brought up. And I just started posting jobs because like I really wanted my ClickFunnel to not look like a ClickFunnel. I didn't want people to go to a page and, it looks like a ClickFunnel, because I just felt like that would just deviate people. So I found this guy in Upwork, and I just said, make this page look like the page they're going to ultimately be making their purchases on, match the color up. And he did such a great job. The nice thing about Upwork is you can put your price. So I offered $300. Honestly, he probably would have did it for $200 if I put $200 on there. That's the nice thing about Upwork is you can kind of say, this is my budget, and just see who responds. So now I have regulars on Upwork that I talk to for making my videos, for making my ClickFunnels. I really love Upwork because I don't have the time or the mental capacity to learn how to like make videos, edit them. I also don't have the mental capacity to really build a ClickFunnel from scratch in ClickFunnels. Well, I shouldn't say I just don't want to. So Upwork is just like great because I can give people work that I don't want to do or don't want to learn how to do right now.
Yeah, man, it's your sense of self about like what your limitations are is really impressive. I mean, most of us have a hard time knowing what our limits are, so we end up taking on too much,
Much,
and then
yeah.
we get overwhelmed. I'm really impressed by your sense of what your limitations are. Like it's really such a strength, and it's so showing in the results that you're getting with this.
Yeah.
So, um, gosh, there's so. Are you having even somebody on Upwork edit, like when you were talking about the videos that you were posting on your self-defense channels and stuff like that? Were you even having people edit and do kind of create those videos as well?
No, those I did myself because it was really simple. I found because I can be a little bit frugal. When it came to TikTok, that was something I felt I could take on. I just converted YouTube videos to MP4s. I found this software. I know it sounds difficult what I'm saying, but I found this program and it was completely free. And you just put in the URL of the YouTube video, it converts it to the MP4 file, and then I would open that file and I would add words. I would upload it to TikTok and use TikTok to add like the captions and the music and stuff like that to it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, you can download YouTube videos and stuff on. You can just type that into Google. I always use Y2 Mate
Why to me?
personally.
Okay.
Y2 Mate, yeah. You can
Okay.
just type in download, but I mean, they're either way, like you said, they're little tools that basically people build to get ranked on Google. And then the reason why those little pages with those little tools exist is because tons of people go to the page and then they can put AdSense, Google AdSense on the page,
Yeah.
the little ads that are all over the page, and they can get paid that way. It's just another way that people are making money on the internet.
Yeah.
When you start to kind of, Marissa, when you start to see the internet through the eyes of a creator and not just a consumer, isn't it wild? Like how it, and I heard this the other day by somebody, I can't remember who, but your income is only limited by your creativity.
Hmm.
And I just was like, man, that is so true, man. I
Yeah.
feel like you have taken our training and you've made it your own. You've what do you think that, let me, because I don't know, I'm only assuming you tried these other things before you found Legendary. What has been the difference between Legendary and these other things that you've tried?
There's a huge difference. Um, I'm probably not allowed to say the names of these places, but some of these platforms, they were just so unorganized. It was just videos. So it was like, okay, I think I told you one of the programs I paid $6,800 for. All it was videos. There wasn't any community on Facebook. There were no, like what we're doing now, there weren't any talking to the person who created this platform. There wasn't a business advisor. There was no kind of support. It was like, here are these videos, and these videos were from years ago. So even when they were even when I was watching a video on creating the business manager on Facebook and the ads manager account, it was so dated that the Facebook that I was looking at that day was nothing like what was in the video. And there wasn't anybody that I could say, hey, can you help me with this? There wasn't a community I could reach out to. So that has been the biggest difference. Is these other programs kind of like, once they get your money, it's like, here are your videos, goodbye. It's sink or swim. And I'm not saying that you guys hold our hands, but you kind of do with this training, because you really take us from the beginning to the end. And that's what I needed. And these other platforms, they leave out all of these really big gaps, and you're just left with 100 more questions than what you had when you came into their training.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Sometimes, yeah, it opens up a can of worms in a sense, right? It's like, oh my
Right.
God. And then more fear sets in, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I have this belief, and I've been saying this for years, that somebody in this industry needs three things to succeed. If they're seeking out like training and stuff, they need the right information from the right person in the right environment.
Yep.
And the environment is really important too. I mean, if we just go back to the first one, the right person, it's not about being a guru. It's not about being some, some multi-billionaire. Like, honestly, nobody really gives a shit like what you have. If like, and I'm talking to you guys also from a creator standpoint. I'm talking to you all like business owners, for when you go in and do coaching or consulting or create your own courses. What I've learned is people care that you care. People just want you to be real. People want you to be knowledgeable, right? Which leads me to the right information. You do have to have the right information, and it has to be. You have to be, if you're going to create courses and you're going to create education, you have to be obsessed about staying up to date. You have to be obsessed about delivering a great experience for your customers. You have to be obsessed about updating your products. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we do what we do here, make updates for free. If like I just did with the new blueprint, it's like not launch it as like, hey, here's the 2.0 version, guys. I changed 2 things and now I'm going to charge for it again. That sort of like marketing is cool until you're a douchebag about it. You know what I mean? And then so many people cross that line in this industry. But then there's the environment, right? And the environment has to be like a shame-free environment. Like, what I've realized so much in this industry is people are so shaming, and then people end up feeling shame, like they're not good enough, or like they have to be like so-and-so, or they have to be like this person over here. And what I've learned is there's a lot of power in just like you said, meeting people where they're at, but also because everybody's not going to move at the same speed. That's really important to acknowledge and let people feel that that's okay. We have people that leave for months. We had a lady who posted in one of our groups the other day. She's been gone for years and now she wants to get back engaged. It's kind of like, welcome back. Like, it's not like, where have you been? Oh, life sucks, huh? Out there. Now you're coming back. Knew you'd be back. Right. That's what people do. That's like, it's that internal shame that people project onto people. And I think this industry is so full of toxic people, unfortunately, who have no business really educating, being in a position of power because they abuse the power, Right. And so, the problem with this industry not being regulated in like having, it's like so new that there's not like things like, you don't have to do, there's nobody who's like making sure you're a good person, before you get started. But it's up to us. We got to really sometimes we learn through tough experiences, kind of finding toxic people and people who overpromise and underdeliver, to finally know something good when we see it. And some of us just have to follow our gut. And when we find something that feels good, that is oftentimes, that's the thing that I've began to look for, Marisa, is what I'm trying to say. Instead of the big hype, I look for, is this person healthy? Is this person telling me the truth? Like those kind of things. Yeah. And so I feel like, that feedback is really important to me, that you feel that way and you feel safe here and you feel like we're giving you, what you deserve, which is good training and actually to be cared about, and not just herded off into a stable of videos, right? It's kind of like people like marketers treat people like they're like animals. Like, here, let's herd you over into this place and just the videos and close the door and then forget about you. Right. So what would you tell somebody who was, thinking about getting involved in our community based on, and, Marisa, I don't know how much you want to go into your, I read your story here in the few lines that you dropped us about your childhood and man, you've overcome so many odds. It's like now you're, what would you say to somebody who's sitting there, who feels like that they're not on top of the world, but the world's on top of them, and they're just feeling like they're coming out of COVID, all this kind of stuff? Like, how do you keep going?
I would say every day, just ask yourself, what's my call to action? So for me, every day I have to remind myself, because of my childhood, I lived in a homeless shelter. I went to school for homeless children. So, like I had my mom was single, lots of kids. From day one, it's been ingrained in my mind that the substandard of living was normal. Never once thinking that I would rise above, just being somebody who works like a 9 to 5 job that catches the city bus to it. A lot of people in my family, even to this day, don't even own cars. So I want people to know that you can literally start 1,000 feet behind the start line. And once that gun goes off for the race, you can catch up with people. There's nothing that's going to stop you from catching up. I feel like Legendary helped me catch up, brought me to the start line before the race started. When it comes to working in this industry, I didn't mention the number before, but like with my self-defense niche, to this day, I've made 32,000 generated revenue just for the self-defense. That is unheard of to me. That's what I would make, like with my solar company, that generated revenue, 32,000, but then like 80% of it was out the door to cost, materials, payroll. The net that I've made with this affiliate marketing after my expenses, my net income, my profit is 24,000. That's a big difference. And that's me starting from nowhere in my life. I always say, like, I've been a grade A, like, F up for most of my life. So if you think like you're a grade A F up or you come from nowhere, like I got somewhere within a month, and even little things like I did Backyard Revolution. I got, I think, $960 from that, but it's something. So I say, wake up every day, say, what's my call to action? Do I want to be 10 years from now where I'm at right now, or do I want to be somewhere else? Because that's what I've had to tell myself every day, just to make myself keep going and not give up.
Yeah. Man, it's, how do you feel right now? I mean, just being here talking about your, your achievements here and knowing where you came from and what you've been through over the past year. Like, how does this feel right now for you?
To be really honest, I still feel like I have that imposter syndrome. When I started getting checks, and I know in some of your videos you said like you like to receive those checks and you got the pictures. I would have preferred like him paying me through my PayPal, because I started to get discouraged. I started off with self-defense and I kind of forgot about it. I was posting the videos and I forgot I was doing it for money because TikTok kept pissing me off. But I was also doing some of the done for you campaigns, and I was like, when am I going to make like $500,000? I did still have that stupid mentality. Like, I really wanted to make that money. And when I started getting the checks from Ron, from the business owner, I was like, I felt like, I don't deserve this. What's going on? Like, how is this happening? And I called him. I'm like, look, I got like 4 checks from you. Are you sure this is the right amount? Like I still feel like an imposter. I still wake up with like, oh, I don't think I deserve that. Did I earn this? And I have to remind myself, like, yes, I did earn that. Like, that happened because I did it, because I actually did something. I got my hands, I got in the computer, and I started taking the knowledge that I had and actually using it. And then I would, I'd also pray, like, God, just please bless the labor of my hands. Like, don't be that person that just sits there and does nothing and then complains that it didn't work. So it's a daily struggle for somebody like me that really came from nothing and thought I would be no one, to really say, I deserve this, I earned this, and not feel like just this complete imposter.
Yeah. Man, you are just bringing so much just authenticity right now. Just the realness is on overload. I mean, it's so true. And I talk about this. I mean, Marisa, you remember on the Decade in a Day, when I said like this first phase of this is about helping you overcome that imposter syndrome, and your imposter syndrome is going to show up in your own unique way. It's not going to look the same as mine. You're going to feel our childhood, like you said. I mean, like, coming from a place, having that sort of ingrained in your DNA that I'm never gonna be shit because look at where I come from. Like, and then starting to have success and being like, I don't deserve this. And is this real? And what if they find out who I am? And like all the, you know what I mean? Like, what if they find out
Yeah.
who I think I am, which is a less than human, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
trust me, I
exactly.
can relate to that, coming from being homeless, being a junkie, being somebody who didn't think that I deserved shit and still struggle with self-esteem issues. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Still struggle to this day of feeling worthy of anything, of the
Right.
family that I have and the business and the people and stuff like that. I mean, I can feel that. I can relate to that. And it's so important to recognize that, right? And just validate your own feelings. Like, yeah, this is how this feels. Like for so long, Marissa, I tried to reject those feelings and act like I wasn't having them. And that just made the imposter syndrome feel even more heavy, right? Because I was like trying to hide the fact that I felt really like, oh man, if anybody finds out who I think I am, they're gonna fire me. They're never gonna buy from me, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you're when you just validate yourself and you're like, this is how I'm feeling right now. One of my favorite quotes is feelings are not facts, right? It's like feelings are not facts, they're just feelings, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that honesty. I'm so proud of you. Is there anything else that you feel that people should hear from you today? I feel like I don't even know what questions to ask you. I just feel like but I don't want to miss anything. Is there anything else that you feel like, people should hear from you today?
I just want to say, you guys all can do it. Again, if somebody like me can do it, you can do it. And then I also want to say, like, pay attention to the world when you're thinking about what you're going to become an affiliate with, because I think that that will make a difference. And I say that because, like, I was paying attention to the world with the self-defense, all the videos with people telling their stories, but I didn't see anybody advertising. With Backyard Revolution, when Texas went under, like, when they lost electricity, that's where I made all my money. I ran a campaign and I blasted it in Texas. Build your own solar generator for your house.
Mm.
That, so just pay attention
Wow.
to the world around you and respond to it. Just think like, what would I respond to if I was going through this right now? Would I respond to that ad if like my lights were out and somebody was saying, "Hey, build your own like solar generator"?
Yeah.
You know, that's so I would want to say just really pay attention to that, people. And then every day, don't just say, I'm going to say it every day, wake up and say, I deserve this. And why am I doing this? Like for
Mm.
real, not for pretend.
Yes. And I want to tell you, just because of the things that you've shared and how much you've just impacted me in this little bit of time we've spent together, you are so worthy of success. You are
Thank
so
you.
worthy of everything that's coming in your direction. You're more than worthy of it. And I believe that this is just the beginning for you, and that the things that you're going to continue to attract because of the good that you're doing, the example that you're setting, and gosh, I mean, you mentioned, I think you said you have kids as well, right?
Yep,
I mean,
I
I
do.
just can't imagine having you as a mom. It just would be so cool to know, especially as I grow up, where you came from, and then the heart that you have, the warrior that you are, and seeing you continue to persevere through these challenges. I mean, I have goosebumps. It's really, really inspiring. And I've put your
Yeah.
TikTok up. I just hope that all you guys, I mean, the comments are blowing up, the love's coming in. I hope that you come back and read some of these, and I hope you can take this
Okay.
in, because you're really shining a huge light for everybody this morning. And
Good.
like for real, man, like it's a big deal. Like this is really cool. And I'm so thankful that you went out and you took the action that you did. And you just deserve all this credit and way more. I mean, way
Thank
more.
you.
So keep up the great work. And I hope that you'll like just be willing to come back and keep talking this talk to us, because we need it. The simplicity talk, the you can do it, the self-worth talk, like all
Yeah.
these things that you're talking about are what we need to hear. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And give your husband a hello to us from
I
us as
will.
well. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
See you, Marisa. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. There's nothing more to say. All right. This day is done. I'm done. I'm done for the day. Like, yeah. Go connect with Marisa. That is another person that you want to have in your circle. And I just, yeah. Love you all. Be legendary. Have a great day. See you.